What's going on, everybody? LK here. Today, once again, with Lord ApologyMan. And today, patch notes. So, we got the patch notes in the middle of the night last night. Everyone has been reviewing them, and we want to give both of our opinions on who are the three biggest winners and losers. I think we're just going to go back and forth just with our individual thoughts. How are you feeling, though?
Pretty good, honestly. I think this patch is definitely a Arc System Works patch. It is. I feel like all the characters are just more them. I don't really feel like that many characters got super seriously nerfed. Like some did, but overall, I feel like all the characters like identity is like more or less the same, and they get to do more fun, cool stuff, which is cool. Like I think I appreciate that design philosophy. So I actually like the patch a lot. Maybe the match at right now, but like we haven't played the game yet. Right now, I feel like a lot of character strength isn't like hasn't changed as much as people were maybe hoping to, but we'll see. There's a lot of system changes that are in effect will affect the character balance changes as well. So, but I like it so far. Yeah.
Good to hear. So I guess I'll start. Let me bring up my handy dandy Mr. List here. So the first one is probably caught everyone's eye because he's very high, just in order of the list of characters. It's Kyle. Everyone loves Kyle. So I sat there reading some Soul changes. I felt like Soul was a little bit down compared to last time, right? But Kai, after reading about like how this is worse and that is worse and this does less damage and this is changed in a negative way, and you go to Kai, it's just dub 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 dub. Like Dire Claire being -7, not minus. Someone said it was -7. I don't know where that number came from. But just better than -10 is really good. Dragon Stall buffs. Far slash and 2S buffs, new options off JD, less recovery off air stun edge. I feel like he's really leaning into even more neutral control while keeping the things that were already strong about him. And then zero mention of damage reduction. Just absolutely none.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah.
more options, more neutral control, slightly better defense. Slightly better defense. His DP can't be low profiled anymore, question marks, or it's much more difficult to do so. I find these all just very beneficial for him, and I think he's eating, honestly. And as a last thing, I always thought in the current version we're playing, how people talked about Kai very clearly showed their skill level in the game. So if you're a person that's like Kai is trash, then honestly you just don't know how
You
to
just
play the
don't
game.
know.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
you just don't know.
I feel the
But
same way.
so
Yeah.
for Arxis to be like, you're spitting and just buff him like crazy, I'm just like, oh, bro.
Yeah, for sure. so yeah, for my first biggest winner is also Kai. I think Kai is insane. It's every patch for Kai without fail, you can always guarantee a dragon install buff. His dragon install, I actually think last version I was like, okay, now I think it's good, and now it's plus on block, which is pretty crazy. If you've ever fought against a dragon install Kai, like it's very scary. The chip damage, like the Fuji arc being plus, like it's super duper scary. Like the pressure that he can do, and yeah, like that combined with the disjoints that he's gotten on his crouching S and his far S, that are like the reduced frontal hurt box, which is actually a lot of characters in general I think I've been getting in this patch. Like I've been seeing it on like a lot of normals. And yeah, that's super huge. Those normals are already super juiced, and like now they're even better. And now there's the stun edge restriction. So I'm like, I need to see the specifics of the stun edge restriction, but it sounds like you can just do like, I'm imagining charge stun edge, jump air stun edge. Like you could just start shooting them. I think the restriction, I don't know for sure. I heard the number of 30 frames, but I don't know for sure. It might just be like half of that, maybe just none. Maybe just keep shooting them. That's super good for him. But yeah, I think he's definitely eaten from this patch.
For my number two, I have to go with my main here, Millia. So,
Oh shit.
I struggle to understand whether she got big buffs or not. So I think Kai just very clearly got big buffs. I think Millia definitely got some buffs and then some changes. So you don't know how much the changes are going to affect her, right? So
Yeah.
examples of buffs that not only are good buffs, but I think they just benefit me as a player, right? So things like Far Slash being buffed, aka it's faster. 5H having a disjoint. This move is not used by very many Millia players right now. That one is pretty big. And Capel is another one where they buffed Capel again. So it's leaning towards being what I hoped it would be, which is kind of nice. But then she also has a bunch of kind of ambiguous changes, like Turbo Fall having no recovery, or not no recovery, having less recovery, so like less lag, right? Capo being affected by air momentum, which she did not have before, and what does this mean for her mobility, right? And H disc, not even going to H disc. So H disc is changed. They're saying like H disc and haircut is buffed, but we need to see how it actually like works and stuff. But despite all these changes, because she got a huge long, I didn't even cover like half of her changes. She got a ton of changes. It seems that they very clearly buffed her defense and mobility. Mix-up is question mark. And again, like the question is going to end up being, do these changes actually address her core problems? Because last patch she also got a ton of changes, and it helped a little. It helped some. Like I would be lying if I didn't say it helped a bunch, but it didn't help like the core problem. So we'll see. So I think it's clear buff. I just don't know if it's big buffs, but the potential is there.
For sure, yeah, dude. Her changes are insane. The H, yeah, I really wonder how much the recovery is less on H disc, and that'd be cool. Like if it's low and you can block after, right? Like using it in neutral might be like pretty decent, you know. I was also freaking out reading that. I was like, oh god, will you get H disc Oki off of landing a ground throw? Like that's good. And then they like increased the recovery on ground throw. I'm like, okay, all right, they were clearly aware of that. So yeah, that plus Capel, which is, you know, also a Strive patch note classic, is buff Dragon Install and buff Capel. So yeah, no, she's definitely in for sure. But I'm since you're gonna go with your main, I gotta go with mine, dude. Like I think Faust got pretty buffed, honestly. A lot of his stuff that he got this patch definitely helps some of his conversion ability. The 6p buff I think is pretty big. I think like now if you land like a 5p into 6p on heavyweights and midweights, you'll be able to probably combo into Tornado. They changed how Tornado works a little bit too. You have more control over left-right movement. And they said if you hit on like before the last hit of Tornado, it'll still give him the bounce. So maybe that could lead to some new combo potential too. We'll see. That one's, it's like hard to say for sure. So that helps with that. 5k potentially can't crouch it potentially, which is pretty crazy. Or can't dash under it, so poking with it is really crazy. And yeah, there's a ton of stuff, but I think the biggest thing that benefits him the most is the system change of counter hit slowdown on P's and K's. So his P's and K's are like some of the best in the game. Like his 5p goes so far, his 2p 7 frame low goes super far, but the reward off of landing those P's was always like kind of low. But I land so many counter hit 2Ps and 5Ps, but they don't lead to anything. Now, if I land like a 2P and I do 2P again and they like hit a button or mash or something, like I'll get a combo. Like I don't know what exact combo I'm gonna get. Hopefully I get like far slash 2H item or something, or maybe 2H item, but that's super good, right? You're converting your neutral more into Faust win condition of throwing items and items. Mini Faust got buffed. I think now if you punch Mini Faust with like a hitbox, he just throws the tantrum faster, I think. He just gets mad at you and just hits you back like right away. So that's huge buff to Mini Faust. Mini Faust is already a high frequency item in general. So that's like a pretty big buff to him. Man, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff. I could go on and on. But I actually think he is pretty buffed. We'll see, like, you know, just same for Millia, right? I want to see how this affects the problem matchups. Like on the surface, I think Leo might be better. Also with like some of his changes. We might still struggle with Ram, Happy Chaos, and probably Geo. Maybe I don't know about Geo for sure. I think he can fight fast characters a little bit better though, with the PK counter hit buff and his 5k like not hitting or potentially hitting crouches. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm super hyped. I'm actually so hyped. Faust.
No. So the last one, I'm gonna pull one, like a weird one because I think I know who's your last one. So instead of saying that one, I am going to say Zato instead.
Okay.
Because I think I know who you're going to say, so I won't say that character. Because
Okay.
even though I agree that that character is a huge winner, we gotta have a little more variety. So I'm going with Zato. Why? So Zato is a very represented character in the competitive meta. So he does have definitely some bad matchups like Struggle Bus, right? So like Ram, like HC, things like that. But despite that, he still performs really, really well. And despite that, they didn't really nerf him. Like they changed some stuff. They gave him a couple of small like nerfs, mostly around damage. But besides that, they mostly kept things the same / made things better. There was a couple of changes that I feel like they made because they just have been speeding up everything else in the game. The Pierce change kind of reads that way to me. A lot of characters who have 5-frame moves, they're like, oh, we made it faster. And there's a lot of characters who had their fastest normal. Sorry, I said that wrong. There are a lot of characters who their 5-frame got buffed to be faster, so we're assuming they're 4 frames. And there are other characters who have like pretty large crouching jabs, like either like 2Ps or 2Ks. There are like 6 frames that got buffed to 5, stuff like that. So I felt like the Pierce buff was just because of that and not anything else. So I don't know. I just think he's kind of eating. Like he already does really well, and I feel like some of the characters he loses to, while I feel like they will still be good against him, they got slightly nerfed or nerfed. So I think he's honestly just really, really out here. So.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude. I actually was so shocked reading his stuff. I was like, wow, he actually didn't like get toned down at all. But that's kind of the energy of this patch in general. And yeah, the Pierce thing was crazy. I at first freaked out. I was like, what? No, that means you can't jab the gap between Pierce anymore. And I'm like, no, that's probably not what it means. At first, I was like, oh, is this only a 4-frame gap? Like, can no one challenge here anymore? But I probably doesn't mean that. But it means maybe on, I remember Jonathan saying this, like 2S counter hit into Pierce probably might combo now, like as with the counter hit slowdown. So like that's nice for him. But yeah, I think he definitely got buffed for sure. Or he's just like in a good position in general. And I think only Frog is like the only nerf.
Frog
Maybe you can like
nerfed,
hit it easier.
2H got nerfed also.
Oh right,
yeah. There's like a couple of small nerfs. Again, I think he's the main thing is that he's overall the same.
Yeah.
Where a lot of people were looking for him to be nerfed. I would say
for sure. But yeah, so for my last biggest winner is it's Biken, and yeah, I think you kind of expect that. She's so juiced, dude. I think she got so many crazy buffs. Like she has a 4-frame jab now. She can potentially combo off of Yozansen like without meter, like TK Yozansen without meter, because it has reduced landing recovery and she has a faster jab. So that's crazy. She has disjoint on like her far standing S, which I believe, and it has reduced attack startup. I think it was like a 10-frame normal before, so it's probably like 9 frames, and it's disjoint. Like that's like pretty fucked. And then there's crouching S, that also has the reduced hurt box as well and reduced recovery. So like her ground game got buffed like hella, and like her reward was already really high, and it's now even higher. She can do Escabari, and that's plus on block, and that puts the rope on them, and now you can like mix people up after that and then get really good combos. Like you just convert your buff neutral into like Escabari into mix. Like sounds pretty crazy to me. Like she seems really buffed, and yeah, and then she also got like the tatami change. It has like an expanded hitbox now, so I think it'll like combo more easily, like use it in pressure better, because you can also cancel the momentum of your 6K into tatami. So like I think that's just gonna improve like her overall like winning condition, and then like her getting to her winning condition like with the normal buffs is also good. Same with her crouching 2H is also really good. So yeah, she's just dude, I think she's gonna be a huge problem in this patch.
Out here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So let's talk about people who are losers, right? Mm-hmm. So, personally, I only think there's one character in the game that got truly nerfed, and still that's a maybe. I think most of the nerfs that I have seen, the characters that are like weaker, it's only slight. There's only one character that I think has truly gotten nerfs, and that's still a maybe, right? And it's Leo. I think Leo's the only character that I could maybe say got true nerfed. I think he's definitely slightly nerfed, but he might also be like true nerfed. And it's a couple of things. So one is they nerfed his DP so that is huge, because now people can safe jump it more consistently. A lot of characters had problems doing it, or you needed really specific combos to do it and stuff like that. And it if you block it in the air, it forces you down faster as if you FD, probably even more than if you FD it.
Yeah, it might not also combo off of P's.
Yeah, that's another thing I was gonna mention too. So he had a 2P and 5P into HDP. If his HDP is slower, it would have to be significantly slower, by the way, though, because I think the 2Ps are attack level 1, I want to say. So they are 11 frames of hit stun, so it would have to be a good amount slower. It's something that you can definitely look at. I mean, it would be a big deal if that was a thing. The big one is Turbulence not being a hard knockdown, and that is so important to Leo's game, especially considering too how the system mechanic change of everyone's like P's and K's having heavy counter hit, and Leo has like one of the best anti-air P's in the game. So he already was really good at converting into like anti-air P into like hard knockdown into like his strongest mix-up. Off Turbulence, you get to go into back turn, right? It's the pillar.
Yeah, you get the mix.
That as a soft knockdown definitely weakens his mix-up. His throw is still intact, of course, and that's really strong. But his strike throw is also weakened a little bit with like things like 5K being nerfed a little bit. So I don't know. I feel like this is the only character I could say is nerfed. Like, I definitely think he's slight nerfed, but depending on how Turbulence is, because all their routing is built off getting Turbulence, all of it, right? So depending on what happens with that, I might say like it's true nerf, but also he can endure, because last patch a lot of them said he was dead because of the Zweit nerf. And as you all know,
that,
yeah. So they came at me when I said he was the same. They really came at me, but I don't know. He was the same in the end. He was the same. So we'll see about this time, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so for my one of my biggest losers is definitely Leo, for sure. I think I'm really curious about how negative his sweep is going to be. They did increase the recovery on it. I'm predicting maybe -7, but I'm not 100% sure. Hope maybe it's even more minus. But I think that's like a really big nerf to him, and that move was really degenerate before, and it led to like such a powerful situation afterwards. So yeah, now like the situations where he gets his strongest mix-up was like the Turbulence, which was like the pillar. That's gone now, right? So basically you probably only get like a meaty like close slash or 2S or something.
Back to
maybe.
K.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I don't know.
Exactly, yeah. So so now it's like HDP and throw are like kind of like the big ones that go into the back turn, right? But if he can't combo into HDP off of lights, so that's like a one other less way to go into one of his strongest win conditions of back turn Oki. So now it's just like throw and like maybe some certain combos into the HDP. So yeah, I do think Leo got nerfed pretty significantly. I still think he'll be good. I'm also him having like good. Well, every character got this, like their closest is reduced recovery. I feel like it means it's gonna be even on block, maybe -1. I'm going with even. That's like my prediction. But yeah, I think Leo did honestly get nerfed, but he'll still be very good.
The next one I have is actually Soul. So Soul, I think, is slight nerf. But the main thing is like, so we actually have to cycle back to when the game came out. So for a long time in Guilty Gear, actually, people have believed that it's really hard to win with strike throw characters in tournament. So one of the main things that helps Soul stand out is that his damage is really high when he's correct. So even though it can be hard to actually like hit people, when you get the hit, you do a lot of damage. But Soul had a lot of damage reduction, actually, like quite a bit. I feel like I think he got the most damage reduction out of every character that I've seen, at least. He was really known for his conversion ability too, so it's a really big hit to him. And then you have to consider a lot of other characters are going to have higher conversion ability between like P's and K's changing, and like just like little things with conversion ability, like Faust 2S launching now, or 6P launching differently, Millia new stuff, blah blah blah. On top of that, he has like common tools having the same purpose, but then weakening certain things about it, which I think is kind of a big deal. So even though I think it's a slight nerf, I think they really didn't give him that much to compensate for changes. Where there are some other characters that have a slight nerf, where I'm like, despite the slight nerf, I feel like they're probably still going to be really relevant. Where Soul was kind of like dancing on that line. Again, like I'll never forget the day, like a couple months ago, where I was seeing people being like, "Yeah, Soul's trash," which is fucking honestly,
Yeah, seriously.
yeah. I was honestly like, "What is going on?" But, yeah. So I actually think this time compared to last time, they definitely took him down a notch.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think maybe 5K potentially might not combo into success, maybe. But I do think the counter hit change might benefit 5K a bit too. But yeah, he did get kind of toned down. The damage nerf was pretty significant, and but I do think the 2K buff is big. I actually think that might be really good. That button was always really good, but just didn't lead to anything. But now it'll probably always combo into 2D. But yeah, I was close to putting Soul on mine, but I went with May, and I think she probably got like the most amount of nerfs, but it sounded like they're very about this new dolphin thing where you can like hold the button down and it like makes it like like the movement speed is like faster now. So I don't know exactly what that entails, but outside of that like she just got a bunch of nerfs. Honestly, she just does less damage. She lost the hard knockdown on 3K, which is really big. So like if you land like a P, like it won't like combo into it anymore, or like if you combo into it, like you don't get like you don't get really good Oki. You have like what's it called? Like you have like more recovery on some of the normals. More jump 2H has more recovery. Yeah, I feel like she just got nerfed, got this maybe potentially cool new thing with Dolphin, and didn't really get that many buffs. So I feel like she kind of lost in a way. But she also now has a 4-frame jab, probably. That's good. Actually, a lot of characters. There's like now more characters that have 4-frame buttons in general. I think Millia got one. I think Biking got one too. So yeah, that's nice. But I think she kind of lost a little bit this patch, honestly.
Yeah, so I was gonna put May as my last one too. So to be honest, I think May is only considering like you can only consider her like a big loser only if you are thinking about her compared to her current self, right? Because you
Yeah.
kind of said it yourself. So a lot of the stuff that people like to do with May, they changed. Like basically since the game has come out, they've been like reducing like making hurt boxes bigger and making things more with punishable and things like that. This time it seems like they're going for a new design. So even though, so May players watching this, I know you're probably feeling down about like normal stuff, but definitely try to explore some of the new stuff because they gave her new tools that we don't understand what they're gonna do in the context of the game.
Mhm.
So that's basically like what your hope should be. As far as like the other stuff, I basically agree though. The main reason why I had her as only slightly nerfed though, and again, this is just going back to like Leo. Like I feel like Leo is maybe the only character I would actually call just straight up nerfed compared to everyone else. As you mentioned, her defense is better, and they buffed 5K, and 5K has a really good hurt box against lows,
Yeah,
hitbox against
yeah.
lows and stuff.
And there's a
So
counter hit, yeah.
yeah, and they buffed the counter hits on kicks, right? And punches. So
Mhm.
despite the knockdown change on 3K and the increased recovery on J2K, J2H, sorry, I think there is even more variety in normal usage. And then, by the way, also like, because they always complain about like they're nerfing normals and stuff, but then they always give you stuff on other normals because main players you gotta understand there are other buttons in the game, you know. So it's good that you get to use more buttons. I know it's sad that you can't use one button to do everything, but it's good that you get more buttons to do stuff at different ranges. So like try to like just fix your brain a little a little bit. I'm sorry,
For sure.
but
They're swinging too much.
yeah, yeah. But while there's potential in the new changes, based on what we know, and I think it's very fair, I would say that she is slightly nerfed. And the main reasons why I don't think she's nerfed straight up is buffs to jab and 5K.
And yeah, for my last one, I was gonna pick Soul, but make it a little spicy to pick something else. I think it's Anji. but I'm not 100% sure. I feel like he got a lot of buffs, which are great. Like, I think him having 2P counter hit is super good. Like, his Ps are amazing, but they just didn't lead to anything before. So now they'll probably lead into maybe like 5H or something. He got one significant nerf that I think is like pretty bad, and it's that Ko no longer does hard knockdown. I think that's like kind of bad, honestly. I don't know why they did that, but it makes me afraid about how good Fujin is on block. It's making me like, I feel like the developers are like, all right, we'll make Fujin better, and then they're like, what have we done? He's a monster. We need to do something. Get rid of hard knockdown on Ko. Like, that's the only thing I can imagine is now he's juiced, and when we play him, and we do Ko, we're like, oh, thank God it doesn't do hard knockdown anymore. But the butterfly is better too in the corner. It slows down as it gets to you, so you get like better frame advantage. So I think maybe they just didn't want that to be looped as easily. Maybe that's why they nerfed Ko. But he also, yeah, got like some other buffs. He got his overhead is faster now, which by the way, I got hit by that shit all the time anyway. Everyone told me everyone told me it was reactable. I was like, bro, this shit is mixed, bro. I can't block it. So now for sure it's mixed, I bet. So that's good for him. So I think he'll be fine. But yeah, I guess I think losing Ko is pretty bad. But still, overall, I don't even think he's like that big of a loser. He's just like mild, like lowercase L. I hope you guys like that video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let us know what you think about who the biggest winners and losers are in this Strive patch, and we'll see you next time.